Good morning. It's 7:30 in the morning, and I think I've been having contractions since 4:30. And we're gonna go to the hospital now, but I'm actually, how ridiculous is this? I'm waiting in the car in an illegal spot right now for my husband to get a COVID test. Otherwise, he can't come into the hospital. I don't know if I waited too long. The contractions are non-stop. And I'm ready to get this show on the road. Hello you guys, we are back and I am so excited to put together this video and just tell you about my birth story and introduce you to my little girl. This is Mila. Mila Elizabeth. She is so sweet and so chill and so patient, and I'm just so thankful that everything went really well. I wanted to just tell you about my birth story in case you're possibly giving birth in the next little while. I know we're like 2 years past the first outbreak of COVID, but unfortunately there's still a lot of rules still strictly in place at the hospitals that you might also want to know. So let's just start from the beginning, shall we? I started feeling a bit crampy, like nothing compared to the Braxton Hicks or the practice contractions. I had a shower, packed my bag, woke my husband up and let him know, this might be the thing. So we tried to wait it out, because basically how it goes is just to get into the hospital, you need to have a negative corona test within the last 24 hours and also be double vaccinated. So we knew that most of the test centers didn't open until 8, but we Googled, we thankfully found one that opened at 7:30. I'm thankfully part of a mommy's group here in Düsseldorf specifically, so it's filled with tons of moms who have recently given birth here in Düsseldorf, and I would definitely recommend doing something similar wherever you live, because every hospital is different. But when I asked what's the rules like here, are the husbands allowed to even go in the hospital, the rule of thumb right now, guys, and I don't mean to scare you, is that your significant other, whether that's your mom or your partner or your husband, your wife, whatever, they are not allowed in the hospital until you are 10 centimeters dilated and ready to push. And I was absolutely terrified by this. I was thinking, okay, it's my second child. Everybody knows sometimes it goes really quick. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. And I thought, oh my God, he's gonna miss the birth. What are we gonna do? Thankfully, everything did work out well. I went into the hospital, didn't know how far he was gonna get in the hospital, but they had said right away at the front desk of the hospital, no, he's not allowed in. Nobody's allowed in, only when you're about to give birth. What happened? I've pre-registered to this hospital. I've given birth at this hospital before. So they sent me up to the maternity ward by myself. So everything seemed okay, but when I rang the doorbell, they seemed a little bit confused, even though we had called them a couple of hours prior, and they said, we don't think we have space for you. Like, you might have to go somewhere else. And I was thinking, oh my God, I waited way too long. I waited the couple hours at home, and then we got our COVID test slowly, and now they're telling me I have to go to another hospital. Meanwhile, my contractions are coming every like 1 to 2 minutes. And she was like, looked at me, realized I was in pain, was like, okay, can you wait 20 minutes in the waiting room? And I just I didn't have an answer for her, because at this point in time, you just don't know how fast or slow this baby's gonna come. And so my answer was like, I think so. And then my contraction came and she was like, okay, they put me into an office, like somebody's office. It wasn't like a CTG room where they monitor your heart rate and the baby's heart rate and your contractions. Oh no, milk squirting everywhere. In somebody's office, and then rolled in a CTG machine to monitor us. And then I guess it took 20 minutes. Someone came in, they checked the screen, realized, okay, yeah, our contractions are coming. And they were just like, bam, bam, bam. Like, they rolled one woman out of this room, rolled me right into it, put me on the CTG again for like 5 or 10 more minutes. I've got contractions every couple of minutes. I'm on the machine. It really sucks because my husband can't be here. We have to wait until I'm ready to push, I guess. So for now, I'm riding solo. I need someone to entertain me. Then finally, the midwife came in and was like, "Okay, we're just gonna quickly check you, see how much time we have. It should be everything should be fine." She checked. She's like, yeah, you're 9 centimeters, and I think you're ready to push now." And then all of a sudden, like, the contractions got really bad, and I was like, "Can I call my husband?" And she's like, "Please do." And thankfully, he was downstairs. He was there shortly before 9 a.m. Baby came out at 9:25 in the morning. Oh my goodness. You're huge. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're Baby. Ich hatte das Gefühl, dass es ewig lang gedauert hat. Das war schwieriger als beim ersten, auf jeden Fall. Yeah. Overall, the experience was really good. They didn't have enough time to get the IV in me this time, so I wasn't able to get any meds. And then I asked them, like, what can I do? And she's like, we can't do anything right now. You're just gonna have to push. And so I was pushing. Midway through, she's like pressing this panic button, I don't know what it is, but the red button on the wall to get somebody to come. The doctor had worked double shifts and was just leaving, and the other doctor hadn't arrived yet or was still prepping, and she was like, "Anybody, I don't care, like, somebody has to come." And I guess what was happening was baby was actually so big that I was pushing, and every time I pushed, she would go back up, like, into my uterus again. And we were getting absolutely nowhere. So finally the doctor came and snipped me all the way as far as he could, and just basically I didn't have to push anymore. They just pulled the baby right out, plopped her on my chest. Some of you have asked me questions about, you know, how is the situation like after you give birth? Do they let the baby stay on you for a while the umbilical cord is still attached? I'd say that's totally up to you. In Germany, they're quite natural when it comes to the birthing process, so you have a lot of say as to what you want or what you don't want, and then depending on the hospital too, of course. And so she ended up coming out, on October 3rd, Tag der Deutschen Einheit, which is really cool. So it's the day of German unity, which means she's always going to have a birthday on a holiday. So she'll always have work and school free, which I think is pretty neat. But she came out weighing 4,530 grams, and she was a Sterngucker, so like with her chin up, and like she was the other way around in my womb, if that makes sense. At the end of the birth, they said, you know, we're not supposed to actually deliver babies over 4,500 grams naturally. If we had known she was this big, it would have been a C-section. You're very lucky that everything went well, but we just wanted to let you know. Thankfully, everything went rather smoothly because I did get snipped quite a lot down there. I ended up staying in hospital 2 nights. This is something that you might also want to know, is that during COVID, you're allowed to stay in the hospital, of course, but you're not allowed to have that many visitors. So the rule, at least in the hospital that I was at, is you can have 1 visitor a day for 1 hour between the hours of 12 and 6 p.m. Now, they're usually a little bit more flexible than that. My husband ended up coming between like 1 and 4 and just staying in the room so that we didn't bother anybody and nobody really noticed, in order for him to get that bonding time with his daughter too, which I find really important. Otherwise, your option would be to get a Familienzimmer, which again, the cost is totally different depending on what hospital you're at. Ours costs around 200 euros a night. I didn't request it, but it wasn't even an option anyway for us. We're publicly insured, and if you're privately insured, then you get priority in this case. I actually shared a room with a girl who is privately insured, who wanted to have a family room so that her husband can stay. It was her first birth. She was really nervous. I was just thankful that at least he was able to visit every now and again. First night in the hospital, and we're all alone. COVID sucks. I basically begged to get out of the hospital as soon as possible so I could take her home and introduce her to her big brother. And we're doing well. We've gotten quite sick in the last couple of weeks with colds and flus and everything, but yeah, it's been a journey, and I'm really happy and excited to be able to share it with you guys. And just a little update from my side in terms of where the channel's going in the upcoming months and the next year or so, and what I'm going to be doing. You guys actually might have noticed in recent weeks I've had quite a few sponsors on the channel. I usually pick up one sponsor for each video to be able to thank for supporting the channel, because what I'm actually going to be doing for the next year is kind of putting a lot of my work, of course, on the back burner. I have a newborn here and a toddler that I have to take care of on top of actually working as well. I've taken part-time Elternzeit, so that means I'm working half the time that I used to. What I've decided I'm going to focus on is YouTube. I really love the community. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I just feel like this is perfect and exactly what I need during my Elternzeit or my maternity leave, parental leave, whatever you want to call it. So I will be continuing the YouTube channel over the course of my Elternzeit and looking to sponsors to help support me through while we put everything else on the back burner for now. So I hope that's okay with you guys and that you understand why I made the decision that I did. And I'm just really excited to keep on going with these videos. If you have any requests moving forward, or if you have any questions regarding giving birth here in Germany in 2022, well, then I can answer as many questions as possible. Of course, it's also good to know that every hospital is different. Like I said, ask within your community, ask other women who have gone through birth in your town or in your city here in Germany. And although it sounds quite scary doing this potentially on your own, I promise you, you can do it. I promise you, you will get through it. And it's all worth it in the end. That's it for us, guys. Vielen lieben Dank, und wie immer, bis später.
It's hard to believe that that massive thing came out of my belly.
Echt?